All right, here we go. Brand new day, 31 degrees, cloudy, and day number 1 of a new month. Welcome to December.
Rabbit.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot. So what's the story, Steve Pappas from the Times-Argus, about Rabbit? There's some kind of...
no idea.
Well, it goes back to like the 1800s or some shit like that, where it's like it's supposed to be a good luck thing when you say rabbit.
Do it. I don't know. You can make up anything you want.
Well, you said it first.
Well, I just say it because my kids used to say it when they were kids.
Rabbit.
They would just say rabbit on the first of the month, and I don't know. Maybe their mother pumped that garbage into their head.
It's some folklore horseshit that it brings you good luck if you say rabbit on the first of the month.
Yeah.
Welcome to Aired Out.
Thanks, man. It's good to be here. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. How was yours?
Good. Did you get your pumpkin pie in a can and your fried okra or whatever it was that you were craving a few weeks ago?
Fried okra. It was wonderful. I hope yours was too.
Mm-hmm.
You just said this morning, my God, I got myself to get dressed this morning. Who normally gets you dressed in the morning?
No, it's just me. But I mean, there are some days where, I realize that I have things to do, and then I'm going to be like on a podcast or doing Zoom calls, and I'm like, oh crap, did I even like brush my hair? And
there's not a lot of hair up there.
Yeah.
You look very frat boy-esque.
Huh.
Today.
I don't really have a...
Studious.
You should say that. Should I put on the glasses again?
You look like you're like going to Stanford or something.
No,
right now.
I think it was a...
Princeton.
No, I think it had more to do with the fact that I realized the shirt that I had on had a coffee stain on it from the last time I was on Aired Out, and you startled me with some ridiculous question. Right. And I spilled it all over myself, and I was just so offended and that I needed to cover up the spot. So,
well, let's dive in this morning. We have to start. Let's come out of the chute with it. The mask mandate, the big city council meeting last night, and
yeah, actually, you should put on your mask. We should both put on our masks because there is a mask mandate now, and it's. JD's looking at me like, what are you talking about? No, the city council last night decided that the best course of action was not to, even though Steve McKenzie, and he was very emphatic about the fact that he was not promoting one way or the other, but that because lawmakers agreed that that it could be left up to communities to decide during that special session on the 22nd, that Steve put it on the agenda, and there wasn't a plan per se, a proposal, and a few members of the community brought that up,
including me. And there was another guy. There was some guy out of the chute that brought it up first, saying, "We should we even be talking about this if there isn't a proposal?"
Right.
And I think McKenzie's defense to that was, "Look, I'm just trying to get this on the agenda, just to engage some civic discussion of this."
I mean, basically what he said was, if the governor's not going to put a mandate statewide, and the lawmakers are saying that communities can decide for themselves, right, I put it on the agenda so that you could decide for yourselves what you want to do.
Right.
You can decide to call for a mandate. You can decide not to call for a mandate, or you can call for, having a discussion and then just, shooting it down.
Right.
And, they basically made the option. They went with the option of we're not even gonna make a motion.
And there was like 50 people in the Zoom chat room last night. You and I were two of them. And Raylene, there was a lot of people, and there was a few people that showed up too and spoke very emphatically about how they feel about this.
Yeah, it's the one thing that was a little unfortunate about that meeting was that people who were already riled were more riled because they had technical difficulties for the first 45 minutes, and people were getting pretty impatient. And
yes,
there were some side chatting going on about it got a little ugly, and so when people had their chance to speak, they spoke.
Yes,
They were direct.
They were, which is good. And it's good.
And I was glad to see that there was one citizen very early on who spoke out, and she said what every other community who was wrestling with this debate basically said too, which is, don't force it on us, but encourage businesses that want to have a mandate to put it at the door, and businesses that do not want to require masks also put that at the door, and let consumers decide if they're going to frequent those businesses or restaurants. And that's what every other community around the nation, honestly, has the same compromise they have come up with.
Yes.
But it took the heat off of the city council immediately, because it gave them an out. And it was a reasonable compromise that both sides, the maskers and the anti-maskers, could stomach, because it's up to, all of a sudden it becomes up to us as individuals. The irony of it is that was the case beforehand.
Yes, it was.
Is that it's always been up to the consumers to decide what they want to do and how they want to do it. And
therefore, we had a few comments saying, is this a giant waste of time?
Right. And
we really have so many huge
through the lens
issues to deal with.
Yes, but COVID is one of them, and we can't ignore that. And every decision that we make right now needs to go through that lens of both kind of what's right for the community, what's right for at our personal privacy levels, but also through the lens of public safety and public health. So even though people don't want to and feel like it's a stupid conversation to have, you still have to have it.
Sure.
You still have to be able to say, well, what is the right thing to do right now? I mean, we're seeing yet another spike in numbers, right?
Sure.
And we're seeing
a new variant.
Well, yes.
Which the World Health Organization says that is going to be in the United States any day now.
And it will. And I saw a great post the other day that said, this was not how I wanted to learn the Greek alphabet. So let's be clear that before COVID happened, we were dealing with coronaviruses then too. The COVID-19 that we dealt with initially was a variant of another coronavirus. They've been coming forever. We've been living with coronaviruses. What we're dealing with right now is a level of coronavirus that makes people more sick.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to have variants until we tamp this down.
Yeah. I keep hearing that, man. I keep hearing it.
And
get used to it.
You can't just shrug it off and say, well, this is something that, you can defend your individual right to go into any establishment that you want. And you defend your individual right to say that you're going to wear a mask at home or not.
Right. That
doesn't matter. You actually do not matter, because until we all make a decision about how we're going to act, this is our new normal.
Yeah.
This is not going away.
Had that conversation this morning, right? Within 30 minutes of waking up was the new norm, which have really become like buzzwords now. The new norm.
Yeah.
This is...
I mean, I think most of JD's conversations are before he wakes up, because he never wakes up. So I'm pretty sure.
I come out of the...
Where's your coffee this morning?
It's right over here.
Okay.
When the sheets come off, I'm going 100 miles an hour immediately.
That's because you're cold and you probably smell bad.
Listen. We heard people say last night, I'm not going to go into this business if they require a mask.
That's their choice.
I'm not going to go into this business if they do require a mask. I mean, it's like...
And we heard some business owners say, I'm not going to wear a mask, period.
Period. Mr. Jace.
Yeah, I mean, he made it clear, and honestly, that
was one of the first comments, public comments, and I thought it was very well said. I mean, he's frustrated.
Yeah, and understandable. Is he frustrated? The one thing that was not clear from his comments was, is he frustrated because he doesn't want to wear a mask, or is he frustrated because
being told? Because he's being told, or he was afraid that he was going to be told.
Right, and he wanted autonomy over his body, which he said. But the question then becomes, was he sitting there representing Mr. J's, or was he sitting there representing Jay Norway? Because is it affecting his business? Will it affect his business? There were people who were saying, if you make me wear a mask, if you make people wear a mask, I'm going to go out of business.
Yeah. We had some mixed martial arts businesses talking about that.
And I get people saying that. But we're 18, a lot of people said this. We're 18, 19 months into this thing. We've been dealing with masks for a long time. It's not like all of a sudden this is being foisted upon us. And, we have to, it's a huge inconvenience.
Yeah.
It's an annoyance.
It is. And there's also a level of frustration from the community that says, and we heard this argument last night, I thought that the whole vaccination thing was supposed to essentially relieve us from having to wear a mask, that we were immune at that point, that we were safe for ourselves and for others.
Well, we need a few more people to get vaccinated before that happens. And I think you heard counselors last night saying that while they are not going to take up a mask mandate, they are going to go out on a limb and say mask up and vaccinate.
Yeah.
Period. Everybody needs to do that as the right thing if you want to have this pivot into a direction where you don't have to feel like those civil liberties or the annoyance factor are present.
Yeah. And you've written about your feelings in your editorial about whether it was a good decision for the governor to leave it up to the municipalities to make these decisions.
Well, he passed the buck. And I've said that pretty clearly that that was political cover that the governor took, and putting it up to the lawmakers and then not vetoing it. Saying, well, it's not. I can't impose it, but if you want to impose it, you can, kind of a thing. That's
I think the bottom line is, and I think we would all agree, and I know this is getting rather broad here, but the bottom line is that we need to, and I think this was spoken of a little bit last night, we need to exercise some common sense. We need to think logically, not be rational, and
not be irrational.
Be irrational, that's what I'm trying to say. And support businesses in Barrie. And don't get out of bed every morning and climb up in the soapbox, but rather, think in the back of your mind always about our businesses right here in central Vermont, not just on North Main Street here in the Granite City, but in our outside communities, our country stores.
For people who are always espousing that they want to have it be like it used to be, and this sense of community and the sense of neighborliness, and this, you get to hang out with your friends and your bros, and you get to, do all the things that you get to do, and you get to go to the corner store, and you get to pick up the supplies, the Times Argus and the supplies. Well, that can potentially all go away if you don't actually, show up and invest in the community by shopping at local establishments. I don't, who cares? There were people last night saying, well, even if Barrie does it, you can go to Berlin and do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. But are you really going to be paying attention to the patchwork of which communities are and which communities aren't? And, there was a push being shared on social media to boycott Barrie just for having this conversation. That is the dumbest thing. Whoever put that out, you're just ignorant and stupid. And I will say it. You are a frickin' idiot if you think that that's the answer. Talk about cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Unbelievable.
All you did was hurt your neighbors. All you did,
obviously
was put the fear of God into people by being irrational and not thinking it through. You're an idiot. I will say it right here on Aired Out. Whoever started that, you're an idiot.
Yeah. And obviously not a business owner, and never has been one, because
no, it was a redneck asshat. Who it was.
I haven't heard asshat in a long time. I like that, though.
You should get that
I'm
on
gonna
your
bring
hat.
that back.
You should get hats that say
Ass hat.
aired out ass hat.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Brandon,
I like the hats by it. I think the merch is
Do you
great.
like it?
I like the merch.
you can get one of these if you
Yeah.
want, Mr.
You can
Pappas.
also get Times Argus merch if you want.
Seriously?
Yeah, there is some merch.
Where
There is. We have hats. We have, mostly it's services, right? I mean, you can not only subscribe, but you can order photos from us, and you can our own photos,
that's right.
and make your own calendar and get your favorite photo on a mug and all those kinds of things
Wow.
that we do. Yeah.
That's really cool. The workforce shortage is also something that is of big discussion in the Times Argus. And, do I need to say to Raylene again, Raylene, grab a microphone if you want a mic. I mean, Raylene has a lot of insightful shit that she says.
Do you want me to get up and leave?
No, I'm just offering. I'm just saying. She's very, she's very, very smart.
You should come in.
Yeah.
Why not?
Come on over here and sit on Mr. Pappas' lap and let's have a conversation. Raylene, by the way, I'm not joking, is in cahoots with another lady by the name of Lisa. And the two of them have devised this plan to shoot me with a Nerf gun for when I need to either A, stop talking about something immediately, or time's up, Steve Pappas needs to go. We got a Nerf gun involved.
No way. Shock collar. You need a dog shock collar. Because that's the only way it's going to get through.
The workforce shortage. Let's go there.
So, over the last several weeks, the Times Argus and Rutland Herald and our various products have suffered at the hands of the job shortage. And it hasn't been in the news gathering or the advertising part of it. It is that our printer, who is in North Haverhill, New Hampshire, Upper Valley Press, who serves several newspapers, not just ours, but several newspapers around the state and does a lot of commercial printing, they have been suffering at the hands of the job shortage. They cannot hire enough people to do the work, and they've seen that exodus of people leave. So as a result of that, because the daily newspapers come out at night, when we contracted with them, they hired additional staff, additional shifts, so that they could put out our newspapers, at least the daily newspapers, every night. And so we're the end of the line. So if they get backed up, it just keeps backing up. And if it backs up to the point where the printing of the newspapers is delayed, the carriers who deliver the newspapers get frustrated and they quit because they're sitting and waiting for hours for the papers to show up in the bundles off the trucks so that they can. I mean, it's not like we produce newspapers and they magically appear at your door. Sure. They have to be delivered, and it's part of an assembly line.
Yeah.
When that last piece of the assembly line goes haywire, it is a customer service nightmare for us. So we've had
Big time.
Yeah,
My God, you take one link out of the cog here, and you're screwed.
Well, and that's a huge one because it's the one that affects readers the most. Because if they don't get their paper first thing in the morning, they get upset. So several months ago, we were seeing hints of it at our level of some of the far afield routes we were having difficulty keeping folks in those jobs. So we just converted them over to mail, same day mail, and we called the subscribers and said, "So look, you've been getting inconsistent service for months now. How about we make it consistent and you still get the daily paper, you just get it with your mail." Okay. Same day. Yeah. And a lot of folks said, that's fine. We actually have not only retained a high percentage of those folks, but their neighbors are now hearing that the paper can be delivered by mail, and they've been subscribing. So we've actually seen our subscriptions go up in a lot of these communities where we're doing this. We aren't doing it in Barrie. We're not doing it in Montpelier in our core markets, but we are doing it in other places. So when Upper Valley started having these kind of chronic problems and they were being really late, and even saying, look, we can't print some of your stuff because we just don't have the ability to do it. We put out, in addition to the dailies, the Times Argus, the Rutland Herald, and the Claremont Eagle Times, we also put out the Central Vermont Reader, the Rutland Reader, the Waterbury Reader, which are free publications that go into. Well, yep, but that's a different product.
All right.
But on a regular basis, on a routine basis, we put out those 3 free weeklies. That's 20,000 copies in Central Vermont of those, and more than 20,000 in Rutland that are mailed to your home. And then we also put out what's known as the Vermont Journal down in Ludlow, which is another weekly. That's just our company, and they have many companies that they deal with in printing newspapers. And we rely on them to not only print us, but to insert all of that stuff that people don't like, all the coupons and all of those things. But that's invaluable. And especially at Thanksgiving and Black Friday and all of those. Yeah. And we had snafus. People didn't get those, and they came out late. They came out after the sales had already started. So I wrote an editorial.
Which frustrates the consumer and the advertiser.
Oh, I mean, our customer service department is not customer service anymore. It's the complaint department, because when those things happen, we don't get a couple of calls. We get hundreds of calls, because we have thousands of subscribers around the state. And a lot of those folks only, one of the big reasons they subscribe to the paper is so that they can get the inserts, and that they, for Shaw's, whatever it is, Hannaford's, Aldi's, you name it. They don't get those on time.
Yeah.
They're going to go somewhere else.
Right.
So we are in the process of trying to cobble together a new process by which we print. And so we've been talking to printers as far away as 5 hours away. We don't own trucks anymore. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden there's an added transportation cost, as well as an added, stress on delivery. By no means is it going to put us out of business, but it is a huge inconvenience, and we felt obligated to explain it to our readers. And I took a fair amount of heat for it. I've been taking a fair amount of heat for it, because now the question is, well, when are you going out of business? Well, we're not going out of business, because if in the worst case scenario, we would just mail everybody's paper. So everyone's still going to get a paper.
Sure. I think it's wonderful that you're being transparent and letting everybody know what the real deal is without any bullshit. Straight up.
There's no bullshit. It's a pretty intimidating thing to manage, because you don't know there have been days where we've had a commitment to print at one place, and they've called and said we can't do it, and we've had to regroup. And my co-publisher at the Rutland Herald, he actually got in his car, drove to a facility in New York, got a truck, loaded it full of inserts, and drove them himself to a printing facility and waited for them to be inserted, and then drove them back. This was 2 weeks ago, but he was in a truck for 12 hours to make sure that the papers got out, and the press was unable to deliver that day for us. So all that effort was for naught. Oh my God. And we can't have that kind of level of intensity, where it comes down to literally one person making sure that, there are certain guarantees. That's not how newspapering works, so we have to have a reliable printer and a reliable distribution system. And so we're renegotiating with, all kinds of different folks. I've had people ask me if we're thinking about, printing here in Barrie or in Vermont again. And yes, we are. And it's one of the things on the table. Yeah. We're talking about it. The Times Argus presses were wiped out in 2011 when the floods came through in May of that year. And we were printing the Times Argus and the Rutland Herald here in Barrie. So when we lost those presses, and that was a huge loss. I mean, that was millions of dollars in losses for us. And we never stopped publishing, by the way. We kept publishing through all of it, and we were publishing in Glens Falls, New York.
Know.
We were publishing at the Burlington Free Press.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
technology can only help so much, but when you have a physical paper that is actual paper and you have actual ink, you still need this equipment, and it's not something you can put in a closet somewhere or a little building. I mean, this is big equipment. This is a lot of money.
Well, it's big equipment, and we need a lot of paper and a lot of ink, so you need a lot of warehouse space.
A couple of comments here. Why is there such a shortage of workers? They wanted $15 an hour, and a lot of employees are offering this, and yet no workers. Josh saying, how many subscribers does the Times-Argus currently have? And if those, how many of those are delivery? Just curious. Michael saying, I hope you do print in Berry City. And another comment here, Wilson Industrial Park would be a good location to print.
Yeah, so thank you for all those comments. We're looking at, you can't just have it in a spot, right? You can't just say, what would be a good spot is Cabot, because Cabot wouldn't be a good spot because you need a central distribution hub. So it really needs to be off of an interstate somewhere. The Wilson Wilson Industrial Park. And again, I was just saying, you have to have a fair amount of space, not just for the print, the press itself.
Right.
Isn't that big, but you have to be able to warehouse a lot of paper, and these rolls of paper
are huge.
They're huge. And if we were going to do a print facility here in Vermont, we would want to make sure that we were not just printing us. We want to make sure that we're underbidding and printing other newspapers and other publications that are currently printing outside of Vermont.
No doubt.
There are no daily newspapers in the state of Vermont printing in Vermont, not one. And all of the large-scale weeklies in the state print in Quebec or outside of Vermont.
Cheaper.
Well, wouldn't it be great if we had a facility here in Vermont where, we could hire good people to do that work? And, I know lots of people who have been in the print industry, either through commercial printing, journalism, you name it, who lost their jobs over time, who would probably love to be back in the print industry.
Yeah.
So we're looking at it. We don't have a plan yet, but we're, fingers crossed.
I'd love to see a press. I don't think I ever have. I would love to just have a tour of a facility like this. I think it would be fascinating. One of the other subjects in the paper today is the COVID pill, which is getting a lot of. Did she just fire that? She just fired the gun at me. It's 9:30.
It's 9:30. Yeah.
All right.
You got a few more minutes.
All right. The COVID pill. The other headline.
Only because I want you to actually hit him.
Why would you say something like that? Mm-hmm. And
sadist that way.
The other thing is the food shelves facing rising costs. That's on the front of the Times-Argus, and of course, Sue Minter from Capstone has been speaking out about that, talking about the demands are high, food prices are high, up 10% right now on average. Rising fuel costs. They have their campaign right now to fuel your neighbors.
Yep, fuel your neighbors. And yesterday was Giving Tuesday, and I know that there was a big push to get people to support Fuel Your Neighbors.
And we just had John Sales on the show from the CEO of the Vermont Food Bank, who's
and he's a big part of this article that's on the front page of the paper today.
Yeah, we're talking about all of these things, and they just had a big campaign yesterday to try to bring more food. The power in numbers is massive.
Well,
massive.
And the food bank, as I'm sure you gathered from the conversation with John, it is a massive network, and it provides for an awful lot of people.
Yeah, it does. Huge.
So,
what's up with the COVID pill? There's chatter about that nationally. It's everywhere.
I can't speak to anything locally on it. What's in the paper is going to be what's in the national discussion.
Yeah.
I would point out to folks that if you really love what's going on in the community and you like the kind of heated debates, we've got 2 pages worth of op-eds and letters today. So
yes,
there's a big pile of stuff. Lot of grumbling. Time must be up.
She just shot me again. There's a lot of hot stuff in the paper, and frankly, if you're not subscribing or you're not, damn it, if you're not picking it up, you're missing the boat because there's some great stuff in there.
She almost hit you in your ass hat.
You better get out of here before you get shot. Crossfire.
All right, so we'll see you soon.
All right, listen.
Raylene, come sit down.
Yeah, I wish that we could. God, it's such a bummer that Pappas has to leave. I wish he could just stay here all day.
All right.
It would make a long day for you. What else is going on in the news today? Vermont reporting that a record number of people are hospitalized with coronavirus. I mean, we sound like a broken record here, but 84 people in state hospitals yesterday, 20 in intensive care. There's just around 10 intensive care beds currently available in the entire state of Vermont. 10 ICU beds that are available in Vermont. Governor Phil Scott urging all eligible residents to get vaccinated and booster shots, and also encouraging folks, if you're catching the press briefings, they're always encouraging people to wear masks in indoor public places. But how do I find out when I'm eligible to get this booster? Raylene, do you?
I thought that everybody was eligible. I thought they opened it up to everyone.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I'm pretty certain.
I think
of
you have
that.
to. I think you have to wait because it's based on when you had your
last shot.
Your last shot,
Yeah.
which is like what, 6 months or something like that. I think. I don't know. I wish I knew.
Well, I'm sure that we can easily find out.
Will you find out?
Sure.
All right, because you're good with this stuff. You got answers.
Sure.
Like record fast. Let's see. The Vermont Medical Society calling on Vermont to ban the sale of the most potent forms of marijuana. The doctors group says the state should ban pot with over 15% THC. The Medical Society is also urging Vermont to require health warnings on all cannabis products sold in Vermont. Legal adult marijuana sales will begin in Vermont. Do you know when?
No.
Next October.
So a long ways away.
So now we have the Medical Society getting involved, saying no pot over 15% THC. Comments, thoughts, suggestions, feelings, emotions? I think that's bullshit.
Yeah. I mean,
There's just going to be so much regulation here. There's going to be so much.
did you expect anything different?
I expected there to be more focus on the taxation of it. Mm-hmm. But now we're going to start, we're going to start.
Well, that would be the smart thing to do.
You think so?
Would to focus on the taxing.
The taxation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because once next October comes,
It could help with a lot of things.
Yes, it could. And next October, when this lands on us, and we're all able to run out and legally buy pot at a pot shop, the taxes, where's the money gonna go? I mean, our roads are gonna be just perfect.
Operation Pothole.
Yes, there's going to be no more potholes in the state. Our roads are going to be perfectly flat. We are going to completely rid ourselves of frost heaves forever, for the future of history.
Sure.
Our bridges are going to be bright and shiny and new. Yeah.
Sure.
It's going
Our
to be...
kids are going to be
Oh.
top-notch educated.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the list goes on.
You never know.
Let's see. News out of Elmore this morning. Police say that the woman shot dead by her husband this week in Elmore was on the phone with a 911 operator when she was killed. Mm-hmm. Lisa Kelly told the dispatcher that she and her husband were separating and that he was threatening her. The operator then heard a gunshot. The victim stopped talking. Police say that Kelly's husband, Jay Kennedy, shot her with a rifle and then used the weapon to take his own life. So there's more coming out on this.
Mm-hmm.
A contractor in Guilford paying over $600,000 to resolve allegations that 4 southern Vermont bridges it built are defective. J.A. McDonald, yes,
yeah.
of Linden Center, was paid $29 million to build the bridges in Guilford and Bennington. Company employees are accused of removing steel from the concrete substructures that support the bridges. The company then was accused of presenting false information to state and federal regulators in seeking payment. What a mess.
Absolute mess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you want to read that while I go get them? Well, and you can show what's on your head. I forgot to bring them all.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it right here.
And so we're going to continue to take orders.
All right, we're taking orders until November, until November 29th, but it's now December 1st. So we're going to be continuing to take orders here, I think is what we're...
Just till Friday, though.
Till Friday.
Yeah, only till this Friday.
All right, she's
And
coming over
must
with...
pay in advance.
Yeah, you've got to pay in advance because we know how many to make.
Give them the price.
Not we. Yipes. So Yipes knows how many to make.
Right.
So you've got to pay when you order, cash or check right here at the studio. Or you can mail it to us, but you better hurry up because we got to get it by Friday.
Right. Facebook Pay Me or JD.
Yeah, that's
that
probably
works too.
That's the fastest way. The
Right.
beanies and the caps.
Which are, am I up there or are you up there?
You're going to be right now.
All right. So here is the beanie.
Yeah.
And these patches we have tan, gray, or red. You can choose the color of
The patch.
your patch.
I like that.
But this is the beanie. Winter beanie.
I had one of those beanies on the other day. Didn't want to take it off.
I don't have the long sleeve tee here. I gave the last one out. So that is the older design that has the silver microphone and the aired out on the back.
Yeah.
And then this year we have the hoodies, not the zip up, but just the regular hoodies.
Mm-hmm.
Again, with just a patch. It's a patch on the front that says aired out.
Like it. Love
and,
it.
Then we also have the ball caps, which JD has on.
I love this hat. Won't take the damn thing off. It's starting to smell.
Well, wash it. So, yeah, we're taking orders for all of those things. If you want something, let me know. We're going to continue to take orders, but only until this Friday. And then I'm going to close that one out.
Yeah.
You want to tell them what the prices are?
Yeah. $25 for the beanies and the caps. The long sleeve tees with the logo in the back are $28, and the hoodies are $35.
Yes.
That's simple. Cash check, Facebook Pay, get it to us by Friday, and we'll get the order in.
And there's pictures of all of it on aired out.
And we should just say that Yipes is kicking ass.
They are. They have some really cool stuff down there right now. They're making all kinds of different personalized decorations for Christmas. They have these patches. They have keychains. They have all different kinds of gifts. Yeah, they're doing a really good job. And a bunch of contests right now that you can enter, too.
Over there?
Yeah, every day there's a new contest that you can enter.
So get on their Facebook page.
Yeah, and they have the remote starts. I believe there's a contest for that as well. They have, you can get heated seats from them. I don't know if you can get them installed. I believe that you can heated seats as well that you can get installed, but they have the seat cover ones, all kinds of different gifts. Way more things in there than you would think.
We were just chatting about the whole remote car starter thing, and not what a wonderful thing it would be for Sherilyn. Mm-hmm. But what a wonderful thing it would be for me to have one of those in her car, because it involves you know, putting on sweatpants and slippers and a coat and a hat and gloves and then going out to the barn and finding the goddamn scraper. And
why isn't it just in the car? Easy, accessible to find.
Because you can't get it, Raylene, in the car if the car's got 3 feet of snow on it. So you got to find it in the barn.
Oh.
I get very upset about this.
Oh, maybe you should just grab the kitchen broom, brush off the door.
That's okay. That's not a bad idea. That's okay. From now on, that's the way I'm going to think. This is awesome. You get a remote car. I mean, they're not like, $1,000.
No, they're a few $100s, but yeah.
Well worth it. Get your car all started up. My God, then you don't have to bother your husband and have him go through all the frustration of doing this.
God forbid.
What else is happening? Anything else?
And just so you know, I've always cleaned off my own car and started my own car.
Josh,
even when I had a husband.
Josh wants to know.
Just so you know.
Will you ever get another husband?
No fucking way.
Wow.
Nope.
Josh wants to know if we can get an ass hat.
Absolutely.
All right. Can we do that?
Coming up.
Let's talk to Val about that.
I should get you a hat that just says ass hat, or should it say aired out ass hat?
Just ass.
You tell me, ass with exclamation point, exclamation point. You tell me, Josh, and I'll make sure. We need to
write that down.
No, call him. We need to call him. Get him up there.
I don't know if I can do that. I mean, how do we do that?
Well, you're not all plugged in or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Were you watching the city council?
Yes, I was. I was right there with you through the entire thing. I was pretty impressed with the civility of it last night and the way it all ended and came out. I think that it was a good meeting for a change. And I said it on my own page, and I believe it, that that I personally left the meeting feeling like we were a bit of a community again and not so against each other. Nobody was screaming, freaking out, being rotten to each other. They just said, here's a compromise. And I think it was a great compromise.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad the way that it turned out that way. And we have we have some things happening here at the podcast that I don't want to give too many details on right now because they're fluid. Mm-hmm. They're
in the works.
In the works of maybe some other podcasts that may be
under Fly on the Wall
Productions that may be sprouting and covering some different subjects, and some of them are going to be
political.
One of them, at least one of them, may be very locally politically focused.
And in saying that, it's not aired out. It's done here at the Fly on the Wall studio.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that we take any position.
Oh, God, no.
It just means that we are willing
to give you a platform.
Because everybody, no matter, deserves that.
And we've had this conversation many times. We feel, all of us, me, you, Devin, Sherilyn, and Justin, feel that it's almost like a damn shame that there are so many hours of the day and the night that go with these microphones and these lights collecting dust where they could be utilized. I mean, we're losing our local radio stations, which were lost anyways a long time ago. And now we've got this opportunity for folks to come in here and create their own podcast.
And truly keep stuff local
Yeah.
and keep people informed in all
Yeah.
respects.
Right.
Yeah.
We like to talk about national stories, of course, and what's going on in the world and nationally, but also right here. And we like to have a hell of a lot of fun doing it, too, and bring some entertainment. Speaking
Right.
of which, Chad Hollister and Wayne Warner are on the schedule.
books.
They're on the books.
Yeah.
So this is all coming up in a matter of weeks, and I'm so excited about it. So they're going to be in here performing. And I'm going to go have a beer with Tim Brick, and we're going to be talking and catching up and talking music and everything. We're going to get him in here, too. He's working on a new album. So that's coming up as well. So anything else that I'm missing here?
I don't think so. We'll probably think of something as soon as we're not live, but yeah.
Show us the goddamn.
Oh,
Yeah, show us.
my friend?
Yeah, show it.
She brought me these tools, our friend Lisa, because I throw markers at JD
With the caps off.
when he's saying stuff that he shouldn't say, which
Yeah.
is, I know this is hard to believe, but it's often.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes they're highlighters.
yes,
But when you really want to when you're really pissed, it's this black Sharpie with the cap off.
yes, and or when he's going way over the time limit
Yeah.
and he's just not cooperating, I would throw things at him. And our good friend
Lovingly.
Lisa believed that maybe I should do something a little less dangerous so I wouldn't poke his eye out or
Yeah.
anything. And she brought me these supplies.
And we're
I've-
not talking about
I have 2 guns
two. Do you have any more?
and I have 74 bullets. So, you know.
Ow! My God.
And did you see that hit? That was in the microphone, which
Yeah.
is way worse than hitting him, just so you all know.
Yes, it is.
Because the ring of those springs in his ears
It's tremendous.
he just doesn't like it.
Not as bad as the train going by, but bad.
Yeah.
Mike Bova yesterday. What a trip having that guy on the podcast.
Yes.
The Big and Tall Comedy Tour. They're coming to the American Legion right here in Barrie, Post 10,
Yeah.
on the 10th of December. And we encourage you to get a ticket. They're $20 in advance, guaranteed. Mm-hmm. You're going to laugh your ass
We'll
off.
post up the poster. We'll give you the information.
Yeah.
We're also
we
going
gotta do
to be putting his press release out today as
Yeah.
well. So
It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun having him on. He
Yeah.
had me in stitches yesterday, just in a matter of minutes. Funny dude. It's great.
I ended up calling him back after.
You
And
did. And apologizing?
no, I gave him advice on where to stay when he's here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know.
okay. Yeah, no, that's good.
'Cause right now, I mean, let's be honest. The local establishments are not what they used to be.
Yeah. Well, there's
So-
there's plenty of other great places to stay locally.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I did at least call and give that heads up and tell him,
That's
give him a
nice.
few names and numbers and places to be.
Wow. So watch the page.
So you better tell Sherilyn because I think he's coming the day before.
to my house?
Yeah.
Oh shit. That's not going to go over well, bud. It's just not.
Well, you're going to have to make it work.
What's going on with the very latest on the Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce? We talked about it a little bit yesterday. What's going on? You tell, because if I tell, I'm going to screw it up.
They've got a few things going on, but they have Elfie, and Elfie is running all over Washington County. Yes, going to different establishments, and you cannot vote on the aired out page. You
No.
have to go to the Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce Facebook page, like the page, and then leave your guess on that day's picture of where Elfie is. And
So break it down for dumbass asshat terms. They give you the clues
Yes.
on their Facebook page.
On their Facebook
of
page.
where Mr. Elf is hiding.
Correct.
You, based on what you've seen on their clues on their Facebook page, cast your guess of
And
where the elf
we
is.
are advertising it, but
Yeah.
if you just click the blue Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce, it will bring you directly to their Facebook page where
Right.
you can enter the contest.
All right. That's
Yes.
cool. And what do you win?
And there's a whole list of prizes.
That's
I
so cool.
don't know them off the top of my head.
Let's say
Maybe I should though.
shout out to our other presenting sponsors, along with the Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce: Green Mountain Mulch, Infecto Homes, and Salvador and Babic, Barry Area Development. Steve Pappas and I were talking about a lot of things that Cody and I chat about every Monday. Barry Area Development, FGB Theaters, the Paramount Theater. We're posting up the movies of what's playing today through the weekend. And, of course, they're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday with the matinees and everything. It's like the ultimate way to get out of the cold, get your kids out of the house, go eat some fattening Cabot butter, popcorn, and candy, and disconnect from the world. And the Paramount, man, they're open right here in Barrie.
Yeah. Two more things before we have to go.
Go.
Sorry. Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce again.
Yeah.
A holiday mixer at the Berlin Mall.
Yes.
Thursday, December 16th from 5 to 7. It's a meet and greet. Refreshments, store prizes, entertainment, 50-50 raffle to benefit the food bank, and a ugly sweater contest.
I'm there.
Have your freaking wardrobe. You
It's
could
there.
you could have 50 other people enter.
I am going to wear my ugly sweater, and that's it. I'm going to be naked from the waist down. I'm going to win, the son of a bitch. You watch. I'm going to win.
So the information for that is
Yeah.
also on Aired Out and, of course, their own Facebook page. And same thing. If you follow the link on Aired Out, you can get to their page.
Do you win something for the ugliest of the ugly?
It says a contest, so I'm assuming.
Oh.
Usually, if there's a contest, you win something.
This is going to be...
Maybe
I'm there.
Kevin will make sure there's a special prize there, and it's a hat that says dumbass instead of ass hat or whatever.
Kevin Eschelbach is going to wish that I don't show up.
You think?
He's going to pray that I don't show up.
He's always happy to see us. And then our friends at Courtney's Allies. So they kicked off the fourth annual Purple Stocking Initiative. And so there are 3 ways to participate this year. You fill and donate a stocking, and we will be collecting the stockings and donations on the 18th at Gusto's.
Yes.
From 1 to 3. Donate gift cards to gas cards, Walmart cards, grocery cards, etc. Donate money directly to Courtney's Allies, and the information for how to do all of that is on Aired Out, and then again the links to follow. But this is to fill the stockings to give to mothers, children, even men that have left abusive situations and need the help.
And I'm so glad you mentioned this, because I forgot all about this. Those ladies were on the podcast here.
They're coming back.
Are they coming back?
Yeah, they are.
You got them booked?
Yes.
Fantastic. They were wonderful, by the way. They were so good. Talking about domestic violence and everything that they're doing, which is huge grassroots level work here in Central Vermont.
They do a great job.
And the fact that they're doing this with the purple stockings, I forgot all about it. That they mentioned.
It's awesome. So we're going to fill one and donate one from Aired Out.
You just mentioned Gusto's, also one of our presenting sponsors. The food is great over there. Their menu has been expanded. Please don't just think of it as a bar. No. Think of it as a restaurant and in a place that you can bring your family and go in and enjoy some great food.
Yeah, and they are truly 100% community. They are so committed to the community.
Well, they have
just
been.
Are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have been. And it was great to hear Josh speak last night at City Council and what he had to say. Mm-hmm. This guy's been everyone. I mean, they've been put through the ringer.
Yeah, they've been through hell, and they're just
asking
that no more.
They still do so much. They still provide their establishment as a venue. Mm-hmm. And as a conduit for others to
no matter how much they're kicked down the aisle, they continue
to do fundraisers.
Yes,
I mean, it's just
amazing.
They're unbelievable. Gustos, yes, go tonight. Get some dinner over there.
Yeah, look for the specials on the page, Facebook page, Gustos page,
drink specials
our page.
Too. Yeah,
yes, entertainment.
Yes, some fantastic every weekend. CW Creative, we were talking about the ladies driving the bus over there yesterday. They're all wonderful. They're just so good. They turn stuff around. Talk about creative, they're all creative, and they turn it around lightning fast. Vermont Custom Woodworking, made by Eric Miller. That's the desk that we're sitting at right now. ASB Financial and Retirement VT. Right here at 185 North Main Street.
Still taking appointments
for the what now? What do we call it?
Open enrollment.
Open enrollment
for Medicare, and he will simplify for you so that it's understandable, easy to do, easy sign up, and there is no cost. To you.
I'm a little too young for the Medicare thing, but it's coming fast.
Yes, it is.
I can see it on the horizon.
But you had to get life insurance, and he helped you with that.
Yeah.
He can do all kinds of different things.
He's amazing.
And so we are still taking appointments for open enrollment, though.
What's the cost for an appointment?
Nothing. And we have appointments available on the 6th and the 7th. And the 7th is the final day. So you can come here to the office. Justin will come to you. We can do over the phone, all kinds of options to get you what you need and make sure that you are getting what you need.
Yeah.
Because some people don't understand, don't know. I had family members of my own that had no clue that they needed a prescription plan, that you have to have it. You can actually be penalized and fined for not having one.
It's very complicated.
It's very complicated. And then the program that he was able to get them, they actually ended up really saving a lot of money because they're not having to pay the copays and the things that they were paying prior to. And they had no idea.
Yeah.
Everything that they had was pretty much very basic and very wrong for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When someone like myself can speak with Justin Lawrence and ask dumbass questions and not feel like a dumbass, that's saying something about Justin. The guy knows.
Yeah, he knows.
He you can ask anything.
You can send me a message and again, all of the information is on Air It Out. We just did an ad for him this morning. Easy to find.
There you go. So look at our page carefully. God, he's an amazing guy. Wood Doodles, they're on Facebook. They're right here in the Granite City. Lisa came in here this morning and gravitated right to the table to see these cutting boards and serving trays and said, wow. And
the sale is going on right now. Anything in our studio is 20% off. And then there are samples of the coasters and more personalized items. Those items you would obviously have to order. Those are 10% off. And so that sale goes through the 20th of December.
All right. For the customizing is through the 5th
yes.
of December. So if you want to get something customized, you're going to save 10% until December 5th.
Yes.
You know, something engraved or something etched into one of these boards. But what we have right here literally 10 feet away from our studio here is a beautiful table set up with a display of some of these gorgeous cutting boards. We'll go live in a little bit and show everybody.
Yes, we will.
We'll bring them over there and show them. 20% off through the 20th.
Yes.
For that stuff. Come right here. And check them out on Facebook. They're unbelievable. Just check them out on Facebook.
Again, there's a new ad on our page
You're
this
amazing.
morning.
Wood Doodles, right here in the Granite City, made in Vermont by Vermonters. Gauthier's Quality Grounds and Maintenance. What do we say about Jason Gauthier other than he's an animal? He's got Trash King, trash removal that he's doing, which he's very busy with. Once a week, twice a week, one-time clean out, whatever it is that you need, he'll take care of it for trash removal. And, of course, grounds maintenance. Right now, that would be plowing, not lawn mowing. We are not...
Plow, salt, sand.
Yes. No mowers. Mowers are put up, greased up, taken apart, and they're put to bed over at Gauthier's. Preston's Kia. When are they coming on? They're coming on soon, right?
They are going to, or we're going to go down there, one or the other. We're working on the details of all of that.
Long discussion at my house last night with Sherilyn about the automotive industry. Long discussion about what the cost of cars, new and used, and new. You know what's
crazy.
The market is fluctuating. What's happening, and this and that, and the percentages, and the banks, and everything that's involved. Listen, let's just say it how it is. If you're driving a piece of shit, and you're tired of putting money in there, and the ball joints, and the CV joints, and this and that, and it's just one thing after another. Maybe it's time to cut the loss.
And you can go there. Actually, on Aired Out this morning in the ad that we just posted, there are links so that you can even shop for a car totally online, financing the whole 9 yards.
From your underwear. On your couch.
So
maybe even no underwear. In the freedom of...
Do you need me to shoot you again?
I'm just saying.
I didn't bring any bullets.
But that's how you can shop for a car now. You can shop for a car naked. No one's going to know. No one's going to know. Granite City MMA, they're incredible. Drove by there the other day. It's all lettered up, logoed up, their new location.
Yes.
And Barstow Construction. God love them. And that's it. I'm going to
sign out before
I get shot by that gun right there.
I